Hello there, everybody. Hope you all had a good week. Sorry this video is a little late, but if any of you are following me on Facebook, then you might have saw that I announced that I was not doing a Stream Wars video this week. Also, you could probably see that when you clicked on the video, honestly. And this week, I'm going to examine the movie, go behind the scenes, and this week it's Toy Story 2, and I'm hoping to do it to a bunch of other movies during the summer. I'm probably going to be doing it at different amounts of times. It's probably not going to be all together at once like the Streaming Wars was supposed to be. But yeah, I hope you all enjoy the video. It's a very, very interesting story. Most of these movies end up in disasters. This is the only one with a good end. Enjoy. So, it all started like a week after Toy Story was released. It was a game praised by critics, was making a lot of money, everybody loved it. And a few months later, Disney started to make their straight-to-DVD sequels, like their Aladdin sequel, their Lion King sequel, and their Mulan sequel, which were never exactly liked, and that's kind of comes up later on, I guess. I don't know if I'll bring that up or not, but and then soon enough Disney was just like, wait, Toy Story is a very successful thing that we had. Why don't we do a straight to video sequel for that too? We'll make a lot of money off that, right? Because all their Disney sequels made a ton of money, no matter how bad they were every time. They always made money. So, Disney had decided to make a Toy Story 2 straight to DVD. But the thing was, John Lasseter, the guy that created Pixar, the company that was behind Toy Story, and I think he even directed first Toy Story, he was busy making A Bug's Life at the time. So, they ended up, so Pixar ended up making two separate things, two separate companies for Pixar. One making Toy Story 2, another one making Bug's Life. And the thing was, Pixar wasn't really, Disney wasn't really going for higher quality at the time. Like, they were using a video game software that they used for the video games for the first Toy Story movie, which probably wasn't all that good. And, yeah, it didn't look that good at the time. It was obvious that they were just going for the lowest of the low at the time. But even the people making the movie at the time wanted it to be high quality. Like, they didn't want it to be a straight-to-DVD sequel. They wanted to have a lot of hard work put into it, but Disney was like, nope, we don't want the sequel to end. You need to make this movie ASAP, right now. We want it done really soon. So, when they tried to take their time with it, Disney demanded them to go quicker. And, when Pixar ended up with the finishing product, Disney was very, very happy. They were planning on the movie to be a straight-to-DVD sequel, but when they saw the movie, they were like, this is going to theaters. This is good enough to be in theaters. We are putting this in theaters, period. Okay, so the movie was finished, but oddly, this is where everything went downhill. Like, when the movie's finished is when, everything went downhill. So this is what happened. They finished the movie, obviously, but then one day, some idiot, yeah, I guess he was an idiot, he tried to delete one unwanted file, but the next thing you knew, basically the whole movie was deleted. First it was just Woody, then his hat, and blah, 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 blah. Then the whole gang was gone. And, everybody was upset. Nobody knew what to do at all. And then when they figured something out, 90% of the movie was gone. That was probably one of the worst things that happened to this movie, but they ended up figuring it out. Luckily, there was a mom working on the movie, and she brought home a lot. She brought her work home a lot, so she could be it for children. So luckily, she had a separate computer at home, and they ended up only losing a week's worth of work at the end of it. This was such a relief for everybody. at the time. Okay, so the movie is finished and stuff. Last year just released Bugs Life. He was just like, okay, I better check out Toy Story 2. Make sure Pixar does not lose any of its good stuff. Make sure that Pixar is always still good. He ended up watching the movie. He walked out of it, and the only word I don't remember the whole quote he used for it, but I remember he used disaster in like a bad way. Like, it's obviously in a bad way, but yes, he used the word disaster to describe Toy Story 2 at the time, and that's kind of a big deal. Like, because Toy Story 2 is generally a good movie, and it's a movie that's argued to be better than the original. It's just so weird to think that the director of the movie called it a disaster at one point in time. So, he complained to Disney. He said he wasn't going to allow it to be made, and then Disney was just like, well, we technically own it. We are releasing this if we cannot have something better. And then they wouldn't give him something, they wouldn't give an extension or anything at all, because it's already late enough. Like, they already went through like the whole deleting thing. So right now, it's either end Pixar permanently or give Pixar a bad reputation, because Bugs Life isn't generally a good movie in my opinion. A lot of people I know agree with me. Well, a decent amount of people agree with me. And then yeah, so like, they took a break, and then the last was enough, got a lot of people together one weekend, and then they decided everything that they keep and get rid of. And what they decided they'd keep was the Andy's room, the Scene and Now's toy barn, and all the characters and their designs. But they worked on everything else. They were redesigning the whole movie, basically. So they only had, 5% of the movie. And they only had 9 months before the deadline. Like, Pixar was not changing the release date, as I said earlier. So, they had 9 months for the deadline. And it usually takes 3 to 4 years to make a good animated film. So, they would take a big risk. Once again, Lasseter did not want Pixar to have a bad reputation. He would not let the original one be released in theaters at all, or straight to video or anything. But when they were filming, they used a lot of loopholes. They decided to use 1 or 2 loopholes. They kept a couple of things from, like, the original thing. They kept 5% of it. That's not really that much, but I think it's a lot. And they also they used a lot of their old character designs from their short films, and they used a lot of shots from Bugs Life, and just messed with the lighting sometimes. And I think they used sound effects from Star Wars, because there's a guy working on sound effects that was from Star Wars, and they're exactly the same sound effects too. And then but people were still working constantly. They'd barely see their family. Some of them would barely get any sleep. Actually, it took some people a year to recover from all this. A year. At the deadline, after 9 months, they ended up finishing up the movie. Perfect timing. I was so happy when I saw that. Everyone was happy. People argue that it's better than the original now, and there's better animation. A lot of people love it, and a lot of people love it. It made more than $400 million if you don't include its budget. That's not including the money. That's not including the budget that it had. It made $400 million for the people that made it. That is a lot of money. Okay, as usual, everybody, thank you so much for listening. And also, this is not the only Pixar movie with trouble production. Ratatouille had a lot of stuff going on. Incredibles 2 might have. I know that it had to rush its production a year later. It had to come out a year earlier, and Toy Story 4 decided to come out a year later and stuff. So, yeah. Tell me if you want to hear one of those down in the comment section. And, yeah, have a good week, everybody.